very warm welcome to London. 2015 is a pretty special year for the CBI. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary. And I know you're celebrating the beginning of your journey 120 years ago. So while CJ, it's not a competition, let me just say we're happy to respect our elders. I'm delighted to be here today to discuss the future of the UK-India economic relationship. In these formal settings, it's often easy to forget that this relationship isn't simply a conference topic. It's something that's being lived out there on the streets by millions of Brits. Let's just imagine you'd headed into London last weekend. On Friday night, you'd have found thousands of Londoners would have been enjoying a Cobra beer at the end of a week. A beer invented by a young Hyderabad-born, Cambridge-educated student, now the famous and good friend of mine, Lord Billamoria, shortly after his arrival in the UK. On Saturday, those of us lucky enough might have headed off to do the shopping in our Land Rover Discovery or Jaguar XE, both, of course, owned by Tata Motors. And on Sunday, many Brits would have been watching the British Grand Prix, with Vijay Mallya's Sahara Force India team fighting with Mercedes and Ferrari at the sharp end. But today, I'd like to talk about the other side of the coin. I want to talk about how we can get young people in Surat, in Jaipur, indeed all over India, excited about British brands. What India can do to encourage this, and finally, CJ, what we at the CBI and the CII need to do to make this happen. The traditional starting point of the UK-India relationship has always been our deep shared roots when it comes to history, language and culture. And if you dig deep enough into my CV, you'll find that when I was at Cambridge, I read Indian history. But whilst we shouldn't underestimate this, we surely need to go beyond it. I believe that there's hard-nosed business cases for British businesses making ever more of the opportunity India offers. And as any businessman or businesswoman knows, it's all ultimately about the numbers. So as the World Bank recently identified and other speakers have said, you now have the fastest growing economy in the world, overtaking China for the first time, and well done with that. And as always, it's about potential customers. 300 million of your 1.2 billion population are under the age of 25. And as colleagues have said, your middle class is set to double in the next decade, from 200 to nearly 400 million. What an opportunity for British business, for the branded goods and services from Jaguar Land Rovers to Adele music and James Bond films that we know you love us for. So it's no surprise that when it comes to finding the next big thing, that many British companies want to be in the elevator on the ground floor to get to India. We are your biggest foreign investor amongst the G20. I have got 550 CBI member companies in India today. Infrastructure investment is, as we've already heard, a real opportunity. You know that 2 years ago, Vodafone invested $3 billion in expanding its network into Indian rural areas, citing population as one of the biggest reasons for its long-term commitment. You know that Marks and Spencer's is already one of India's largest foreign clothing chains, with plans for 100 stores in India by 2016. And you know that Diageo has an increasingly important stake in your spirits industry. And companies like JCB, Standard Chartered and HSBC are already household names in your country. Of course, I believe for India, and certainly for my corporate members, this is all good news. But there's always more to do. We need to continue to help the Indian government with its spectacular efforts to boost its pro-business credentials. And I agree we've already seen some very positive signs. Prime Minister Modi's Make in India project, alongside Digital India, Skills India and the 100 Smart Cities initiatives, have opened a new world of opportunity for British businesses. The push for smart cities and clean technology in particular plays so well to the strengths that British business can bring to helping India achieve sustainable growth. And British businesses are looking forward to the National Infrastructure Investment Fund helping several key infrastructure projects get off the ground. Now, in the last Parliament, here in the UK, we managed to lower the headline rate of corporation tax from 28p to 20p, whilst at the same time tackling a deficit and austerity. That helped to make the UK the #1 destination for foreign direct investment. So moving to India, the recent budget announcement to reduce Indian corporate tax rates by 5% over the next 4 years is, we believe, a tremendous step in the right direction. And recent legislation allowing for a higher foreign direct investment cap for the insurance and defence sectors has certainly sparked interest amongst British business. But we need to do more in sectors like defence, aerospace and advanced engineering in particular. These are areas where Britain has not been doing as well as it should in the Indian market. And whilst I'm just on tax, allow me to say that tax remains a hurdle stopping more British businesses engaging in India. The recent tax notice to Cairn Energy of $1.6 billion and minimum alternate tax on foreign institutional investors imposed retrospectively is, frankly, of concern. So, High Commissioner, I very much welcome your comments on how we can move forward mutually through the expert panel on these sensitive and delicate but mutually respectful issues. And I very much welcome the introduction of the goods and services tax. But of course, the flip side as a lobbyist of calling on a government to do ever more is that I need to recognise that we and my own government also need to do more. And that's exactly what we're doing. Britain needs to work on attracting the best and brightest talents onto our shores. And in that regard, the recent UK government announcement, as you said, High Commissioner, suggesting some tightening of intra-company transfers, a route used by many Indian IT companies, is potentially of real concern. Of course, we need to upskill our own population here in the UK, as Dame Asha is busy doing, but we also need to recognise that skilled migration is as much a part of the solution of our skill shortages. And just at the moment in the UK, where the economy is flying, skill shortages are becoming endemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you will agree that when it comes to the UK-India economic relationship, the future is exciting and full of opportunity. Together we've come a long way, but we'll need to keep encouraging British businesses to make the most of these opportunities. We need to keep working with our good friends in the CII and in the India government in helping to make India a great place to do business. To further strengthen this relationship, we're launching a report called Sterling Assets at the India-UK Business Convention in New Delhi in 2 months' time. This piece of work assesses the impact of British investments in India in terms of jobs, physical infrastructure, success stories and corporate responsibility. And we'll continue to innovate in the CII CBI relationship. Just one example to end on. The inaugural CBI Indian Banquet will take place in London on the 17th of September. I hope to see many of you there. I wish you the very best for your stay in London. Many thanks.